Hello and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with a Disability Policy for All. Today I have the great fortune to interview Sue Swenson, who is the Assistant Secretary of the Office of Special Education, which she'll explain to us what her job is. But, so thank you.
It's my pleasure, Liz.
For coming in.
We've presented together before. I'm always happy to talk to you.
Okay. I know when we talked before, you wanted to talk about families. So the first question is, what about families would you like to talk about?
So, a couple of things. Because you're a self-advocate leader, and I used to be a family leader when my Charlie was still alive. I just think it's really important that we keep the balance. And it's not just parents, but it's families as siblings and grandparents and brothers and sisters and children of people with disabilities are an important piece for us to keep in mind, is that as we go forward, we can't just leave families out. One of the best things that ever happened to me was in the old days when you guys were called AAUAP. There was a training for people to be peer reviewers of the centers, and I was in that first class. And there were 3 parents, as I remember it, and 3 self-advocates in that class. And the self-advocates were kind of mad that parents were included. And they said, we should be the ones doing the reviews, we don't need parents. And I said, I am here because I want to learn from you. I want to be a better parent. I don't want to be the kind of parent that somebody would grow up and be mad at for controlling their life. I want to be the kind of parent that can support my son who has disabilities so that he can live his own life and be free. And I think in that training, these particular self-advocate leaders, well, it was Tia Nellis and Nancy Ward, 2 women from whom I learned a tremendous amount to help me be a better mother and really try to understand things from my Charlie's point of view, what he might want in his life and how I can support him to be more free. So I think neither a family advocate nor a self-advocate can say that they can handle the whole thing by themselves. It has to be this conversation between families and self-advocates. So although I'm a big believer in investing in self-advocates and self-advocacy leadership, I also believe strongly that we need to educate families and reach out to families with information and training. And of course, OSERS does that. And I am just the acting assistant secretary here in the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, acting because Michael Uden has been nominated for the job. I am the deputy, so I'm now also acting as the assistant secretary. But OSERS, as you know, funds through OSEP the Parent Training and Information Centers, which for the first time last year, the new technical assistance grant includes self-advocacy as something that we want parent training and information centers to have some strength in helping to develop self-advocacy in states.
Great. And
I'm a Fed, so I give you long-winded answers. I'm sorry.
And I apologize for getting your title.
No, it's okay.
I apologize.
It's the right title. It's just the status.
Yeah. So the next question is, since we have been talking about self-advocacy, I know in the past you and I have talked about self-advocacy and education, and so do you think it's important to have self-advocacy at an early age, and do you think it should be a part of the school curriculum at like grade 5 or grade middle school or high school or whatever?
That's interesting. So one thing we're not allowed to do in the Federal Department of Education is prescribe curricula. We cannot tell schools what they have to put in their curriculum for anybody. However, I can say that I think children, young children, should be taught about self-advocacy wherever we have an opportunity to teach them about that, whether that's in school or at home or after school. I can't say we prescribe that curriculum, but I can say as a mother and as an advocate that I do think it's the key thing we want to teach. For me, Charlie didn't speak, but he spoke for himself. You knew Charlie, you know that he did. And that was an important part of my freedom as his mother, that I could depend on the idea that Charlie would, if he didn't like something, he would let us know that. And if he did like something, he would let us know that too. And that helped me be morally more sure of where I was going, to remind myself that I could just listen to him, that he would let me know. And I think that's the tension between families and self-advocates. Sometimes families or teachers think, oh, we don't want to teach self-advocacy because then the child will think that they're in charge. And especially when you're talking about very young children, whether they have disabilities or not, are always the responsibility of their families, their parents. But we have to sort of ramp it up as they grow up. So when they're 3, you can give them a choice about what they wear. And when they're 5, you can give them choices about what they eat. And when they're 11, you can give them choices. You definitely have to give them choices about who their friends are, and what do they do with their time, and all of those things. And then as we get up to age 18, they're more prepared, and you're more prepared as a family member to recognize that the person is in charge of their life. And so when they turn 18, they can take on that very important role, and you've done your job as a parent to help prepare them.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about your jobs. Your job.
Yes.
Can you share with us about your job and what do you do here at the Department of Education?
So, Liz, I'm a political appointee here, which means the White House appointed me to be the deputy. I did not require a Senate confirmation to be able to do that job. The White House just made that decision and they put me in here. There are also, when I came in, the Assistant Secretary is also a White House appointee, but the Assistant Secretary has to be confirmed by the Senate. Then there's also the Rehab Services Administration Commissioner, that's Janet Labreck. She was appointed by the White House and also needed to be confirmed by the Senate. And Melody Musgrove, who is the very able director of the Office of Special Education Programs, is also a White House appointee, as I am. So we are a team, and we try to advance in the name of the Obama administration what we hope will be some progress in special education and in rehab services. For a year when I first came in, I was also the acting director of NIDER, when NIDER was still with us, but now that the WIOA passed, NIDER has moved over to the administration on community living. So I had that responsibility for a while, but we're a team. We look at things like, how can we help schools be more inclusive? How can we help schools be more inclusive so that when they graduate from school, more people will have access to employment and will actually be able to go out in the world and get a job? And it's not all developmental disabilities by any means, it's all disabilities. So we try to make sure we have the data we need, make sure we have the policies we need, make sure we are talking to the right people and listening to the right people. I spend a lot of my day listening to people, and I really like that. I think that's a good way to spend your day. Then when it comes down to it, after listening to people, I have to make some decisions about should we do this or should we do that. And that's why I was appointed by the White House to do the job, because they sort of said, yeah, we think she has enough experience and kind of knows the lay of the land, so that when it comes down to it, she'll be able to make those decisions.
In some ways, that's funny because you learn how to listen to your son, and I hope that you'll listen to your other sons. And as a parent, you're listening every day.
That's a very good point, Liz, and that's a key muscle if you're going to be in any political job, is to have the ability to listen to people. And I wish I could listen more. I wish more people would say, hey, I want to come in and talk to you about this. My door is always open to that. I think the people who have the wisdom are the people who live with disabilities. And that means both self-advocates and their families. Everybody lives with disability. And those are the folks who know what's working and what's not working.
Great. Is there anything else you would like to talk about, either about families or education?
No, I want to encourage your listeners to keep thinking about developing leadership that will fill these jobs in the future. We worked really hard as a disability community to have the ability to say we want people from our community to be in leadership roles in presidential administrations, whether they're Democratic or Republican or whatever future parties there might be. We have to fight to keep those appointments. We have to make sure that our voice is heard with each White House, to make sure that they know that we have special knowledge, we have some understanding of things, and we should have people with disabilities and family members in those jobs.
Great. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to you. And as a gift, I would like to
I will use it proudly. It says, growing leaders. Oh, I didn't even read that before. So I just asked you to do something that you're already committed to.
Yes.
And it says, Tuesdays with Liz, Disability Policy for All. And you can get to that at www.aucd.org/inbrief. Fantastic.
Thank you, and if you have any more questions about this or any other policy issues, please go to the AUCD webpage and look for this week's In Brief. And if you have any questions or comments about this week's Tuesdays with Liz, please leave them in the space below. Thank you, and I look forward to talking to you next week.